Greetings. Today I want to speak to you on the subject of marriage. I want to share with you how they would have lied to us about marriage. The very first thing I'm going to say to you is that your maker is your husband and the Lord is his name. Not me say that. It is the Bible that says that. Also, marriage is a great mystery. Not me who say that. It is also the Bible that said that in Ephesians chapter 5. Also, the Bible states that Israel has opened up her leg for every man who passed by and would have become a whore, a harlot. So I'm asking the question, if Israel is a nation of people and it includes men and women, I would like you to explain that for me. Of course, the religious one would say that is symbolic, yet they would never believe that the entire book is symbolic. They would also say it doesn't mean so literally, yet they would not accept the fact that the entire Bible, nothing in it is literal as secular history. They wouldn't accept the fact that it addresses the human mind and must be interpreted psychologically. In other words, they fail to accept the fact that the Bible is a book of mind science. Also, the very beginning of the Bible, in Genesis, it tells you that God marry a man and a woman. No. If God is invisible and God gonna marry two people, it have to definitely be an invisible marriage. Okay? So when you really understand that you have your visible self and your invisible self, you'll understand the masculine and feminine energy. You'll understand the law of gender. Also, you will understand all of the other laws that governs all of humanity. Okay, and also governs the universe. Now, when you really read the Bible and you realize that the garden is your mind, then you will know that when your mind is in union with your body and it's in its right alignment, that you'll be able to multiply and bring forth in your life. And you can do it either consciously or unconsciously. And you can either reap a harvest of productivity or a harvest of destruction. Now, people read about the man and the woman coming together and bringing forth Cain and Abel. Well, a while ago I just mentioned it can bring forth a destructive life, a creative life. So those are the results that you will get in your life based on the union. So this marriage, this union is taking place within, because everything is mental, everything is psychological. Everything has to first be a thought, it has to first be an idea, it has to first be imagined. There's no one that can tell me of anything that has happened in the Bible, whether good or evil, that wasn't first a thought or first an idea or first imagined. No. What they did, they misinterpret the scriptures to enslave the masses. So what they do, they convince you to believe that unless you sign a piece of paper and pay the government of whichever country there is in the world some money, then you'll be having sex with guilt, shame, and condemnation and judgment towards yourself, because they convince you that you'll be committing a sin against God, but they never let you know that God is your higher self, your invisible self. And so when you do not realize the correlation between the mind and the body, the masculine and the feminine, when you do not understand your subconscious mind and your conscious mind. When you do not understand the physical and the non-physical and how to take something from the non-physical world and make it manifest in this physical three-dimensional world, they'll be able to trick you and make you feel guilt and shame in partaking in something that is quite natural. Now, your mother never pay any money or sign any paper to see her monthly cycle. And that is when the woman starts to blossom. And it is the sign that she can now bring forth. So a mother would be warning her daughter when she starts seeing her period and telling her that she must be careful because she know that her sexual hormones are now activated and she would have that kind of sexual feeling and she can get pregnant. It's the same thing out in nature. When you look at the tree and it starts to push forth its blossom, you know sooner or later it's going to bring forth a harvest. So when you really understand what I'm saying in the psychological and spiritual sense, you realize why they interpret the Bible to you in just the physical sense only to trap you in the five senses and to keep you in the animal level. Okay, just operating in the five senses where you can see, taste, touch, smell, and so on. And that is why you would only see fornication and adultery in the physical way and never understand it in the psychological and spiritual way. So, my brother and my sisters, when you really understand that the establishment of the world is using a scam in terms of marriage to basically convince you that you must give them money to partake in sacred energy exchange without guilt and shame, then you will understand that it's all a game and it's all a scam. And that is why I was willing to put together this book, which is called The Truth About Marriage. And I would definitely encourage you to get this book and read it. Okay, it's called The Truth About Marriage. You need to know about marriage. I'm not against marriage and I'm not telling anyone not to get married, but you need to know what you get into. You see, because a lot of men find themselves in debt traps when they get in marriage. They find themselves in a prison, okay, when they end up in marriage. Even myself, when I had this book written in notebook, right, I still end up in a marriage that I know it was against my will. Even the day before, I was asking the woman what she would have done and she wasn't telling me the truth. But unknowingly to me, while I was in this toxic relationship, when I would go to work, at the time I was working at the Bukomen Bay Resort, and I actually wrote a book on that too, okay? The Bukomen Bay Resort and my experience there with Caucasian people, okay? And so when I would go out to do that job, she was going and consulting with certain people who was using energy and they was using energy ignorantly, and those people were religious people. She was going to a church, a so-called church leader, which was a woman, to pray for her and so on and all of that to make her relationship work and all of these kind of things. And this woman is the one who control her husband and all of these things, right? And everything that I'm saying here to you, all these things were shown to me in a dream. She went to three persons and the three persons was revealed to me through dreams. Okay, it was two men and one woman, basically. Okay, and so I understand how you can use energy and influence other people because we are all connected. At the time, I didn't have no understanding about the connection, but I remember quite vividly when I had the dream. The first person, the man, was revealed to me, and I went looking for that man, and most people couldn't find where the church, couldn't direct me where the church was, and the church was so close by. Okay, people directed me to where he used to live, this, that, and I never really found the person. Okay, and I remember quite vividly when I woke out of the dream and I didn't, you know, find that person. I called my mother and I asked my mother because in the dream, I was putting a thread through a needle and I was gonna cross it like an X. And by the time I do, I realized it was a big mistake. Okay, and then when I call my mother tell me to look around and see if there was any vial in the house. And I do look around and I did find a vial that she got from the so-called church did and so on. But to cut a long story short, right? We are all connected. Okay, and the true union and true marriage, it takes place within is the conscious and the subconscious mind. It's your physical and your non-physical self. You have to get in that kind of union to procreate and bring forth to live the best version of your life on this planet. But they brainwash us and make us believe in some other marriage. Yes, a man and a woman coming together, it's actually a sign, a symbol of the visible and the invisible because one represents each other. Okay, and when the masculine and the feminine comes together, okay, that's how life is created on this earth. And it's the same thing when you're going to bring forth your brainchild. It's the same thing that bring all the invention and innovation and so on in the world. Okay, so you really need to understand it on a high level. But as I come to a close here, because you know it's very, very, very hot down here. Okay, um, when you understand the Bible from a metaphysical standpoint and an esoteric standpoint, you would realize that everything is mental and everything is psychological. You would realize that everything is taking place within you. You would realize that this life it's all a dream and they don't want you to wake up out of the dream. I would have awakened out of the dream. That's why I can tell you these things. So if you are going to get married, I just want to inform you and let you know that you don't really have to go through the traditional way that the government and the church system give you. You and your significant other can make your vows by yourself and so on, make your promises, sign contracts if you want to sign contracts together and live your life happily. So my brother, my sisters, there's a lot of things that they would have lied to us about and I'm here to help you because it's very hard for you to get out a marriage because it's easy to get into it, but when it comes to divorce and the amount of money that the lawyers want to milk from you and so on, then you would realize that it's a trap. So if you haven't gotten into marriage as yet and you listen to me, I'm saying all of this to help you so that you wouldn't get into the trap or fall for the trap. You see, the religious women, they're so gullible. All you have to do is go to church and promise them marriage even if you do not love them, even if you just wanted to get the meat and eat the meat, and then afterwards you leave once you offer them marriage because they're gullible. And it is when I awake, I realize how easy it is to really brainwash and deceive a religious woman. Very, very easy to really brainwash and deceive a religious woman. And I've seen now that, especially black women, their criteria for dating a man have to be a church man, a man going church, a man of God and so on. And all of that is part of the big brainwash. Because most of these men that goes to church, they are effeminate men. Okay, they are men without any bars, men without any backbone, men that they can eat, that these women can easily control because they allow another man from the pulpit to control them. Okay, so you know there's so much things I can say, but before I leave you, I would just like to ask you to comment and to subscribe and to share this video. And if there's anything you like me to speak on or things you would like me to get more in depth with, you can definitely reach out to me and let me know. Okay, because we have to grow together, okay? And I have to know the things that you would like me to speak about. Also, I'm working and trying to make more videos. I was very, 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 very busy this time around with my businesses. And so because of that, I wasn't posting as regular as I would like to. And I know sometime later in life, I would like to do this thing full time because I want to give so much service to humanity. So I'll definitely encourage you to continue to tune in. And also, I will encourage you to get my latest book, which is called The Secret of the Vagina, Mystery of the Virgin Birth. And this is where I'm teaching you about the Immaculate Conception and teach you what it's really all about. Okay. Also, I'll encourage you to get Spiritual Recipe for Better Living, plus my many other books and journals. They're all available on Amazon. Also, if you haven't become a part of my Patreon community as yet, I'm encouraging you to become a part of my Patreon community and support this work. However, for those who are willing to donate $20 or more, I have a course that is called the Inner Sound Science and Technology to Create Your Reality Consciously. And along with that is a bonus course on self-concept. So if you feel very strongly to support this work, I'll definitely encourage you to do so. So just before I leave you, I just want to remind you to make sure that you check out all of the links that are down below and let your intuition lead you and guide you into what to do. So with that being said, I just want to say peace, love you all, out.